Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're looking ahead.
To the future.
Yeah, the future of work. Specifically, 2025 and beyond.
Right.
We'll be using the World Economic Forum's
Future of jobs.
Future of Jobs Report 2025 as our guide for this deep dive.
Right.
This report is really a goldmine of information.
It is.
They gathered insights from over 1,000 global employers,
Wow.
which represents something like 14.1 million workers.
Yeah.
It covers 22 industries and spans 55 economies.
Pretty broad.
Yeah, so pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
And you know what's really fascinating about this report?
What's that?
It doesn't just, give us a snapshot of the current job market.
Right.
It forecasts the trends that'll shape the world of work over the next few years.
Absolutely.
And our goal today is to really help you, the listener, make sense of these trends.
Okay.
And maybe even find some inspiration for your own career journey.
That'd be great.
I don't know about you, but I'm always up for a good surprise.
Sure.
And this report has plenty of them. For instance, did you know that by 2030, almost 60% of workers globally will need retraining?
Wow.
It's kind of like playing musical chairs.
Okay.
Except instead of chairs disappearing, the rules of the game are changing.
That's a great analogy.
Right. It really highlights the importance of adaptability
Yeah.
and lifelong learning in this rapidly changing world.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you know today.
Right.
It's about your willingness to learn and evolve as the job market shifts.
For sure.
Another thing that really caught my eye in the report
Right.
was the list of fastest growing job roles. Some of them, like big data specialists and fintech engineers, aren't that surprising.
Makes sense.
But renewable energy engineers,
Interesting.
that really underscores how the green transition is changing the workforce.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the 5 macro trends identified in the report.
Okay.
These trends are really the driving forces behind the changes we're seeing in the job market.
Right.
So let's unpack them one by one,
Okay.
starting with technological change.
All right.
It's probably no surprise that technology is having a huge impact on the future of work.
Yeah.
But the report actually pinpoints broadening digital access as the most significant factor,
Interesting.
even more so than things like AI or robotics.
It's like digital access is the key that unlocks the door to all of these other technological advancements. Why do you think that is?
Consider this.
Okay.
Broadening digital access allows businesses to adopt AI solutions,
Right.
leverage robotics,
You sure?
and revolutionize how they generate and distribute energy.
Okay.
It's the foundation upon which these other innovations are built.
I see.
The report states that a staggering 60% of employers
Wow.
believe broadening digital access will fundamentally change their business by 2030.
60%. That's a clear indication of just how powerful this trend is.
Yeah.
But technology isn't the only force at play, right?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Economic uncertainty is another major factor shaping the future of work.
Oh, yeah.
With the rising cost of living and slower economic growth,
Yeah.
many businesses and workers are feeling the pinch.
It makes you wonder how people will adapt their career choices
Sure.
and how companies will navigate hiring in this climate of uncertainty.
That's a crucial point.
Right.
This environment will likely favor individuals who possess key skills,
Uh-huh.
like resilience and creative problem solving.
Okay.
They'll be the ones who can adapt to changing conditions and come up with innovative solutions.
Right.
Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from setbacks.
Right.
It's about anticipating challenges and finding creative workarounds. Kind of like a chess game where you're always thinking a few moves ahead.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It makes resilience feel more strategic and proactive, less about just reacting to whatever comes your way.
Right.
So adaptability and a strategic mindset are key in this environment. What's the next big trend we need to be aware of?
The third macro trend highlighted in the report is the green transition. Climate change, mitigation, and adaptation are no longer just buzzwords.
Yeah.
They're creating real opportunities and challenges for businesses and workers alike.
We're seeing this play out in the rise of green jobs, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As businesses adopt more sustainable practices, the demand for roles like renewable energy engineers and environmental engineers is increasing.
Right.
And even beyond specific job titles,
Yeah.
environmental stewardship skills are becoming increasingly valuable across various industries.
So having a passion for the environment could actually give you a leg up in the job market.
It could.
That's great news for those who are driven by sustainability.
Yeah.
What other macro trends are shaping the future of work?
The fourth trend is what the report calls geoeconomic fragmentation.
Okay.
It essentially means that geopolitical tensions and trade restrictions are shaking things up in a big way.
It reminds me of that game Jenga,
Uh-huh.
where one wrong move can make the whole tower crumble.
Right.
You pull out one block and suddenly everything shifts. But in this case, it's more like countries and trade agreements are the blocks.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
And this reshuffling of the global economic landscape is having a ripple effect on job markets worldwide.
Okay.
The report found that nearly all the economies most impacted by this trend
Wow.
have significant trade ties with either the U.S. or China.
So even though individual countries might be making their own moves,
Yeah.
the global economy is so intertwined that everyone feels the tremors.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of ripple effects,
Okay.
what's the final macro trend we need to understand?
The last one is demographic shifts.
Okay.
The world's population is aging in some regions while experiencing rapid growth in others.
Yeah.
And this is creating a very dynamic situation.
I can see how this could have major implications for healthcare,
Right.
education, and even the types of products and services that will be in demand in the future.
Exactly.
Wow.
These demographic shifts are going to have a profound impact on labor supply, skills demand, and job growth across different regions.
So we have a complex interplay of factors at work here,
Yeah.
each influencing the future of jobs in its own way.
Uh,
It's a lot to process,
it is?
but it's also fascinating to see how these trends are interconnected.
I agree.
Yeah.
By understanding these macro trends,
Okay.
you're already gaining valuable insights into the forces that will shape the future of work.
So we've laid the groundwork by exploring these macro trends.
We have.
Now let's get specific.
Right.
What does this mean for the actual jobs
Yeah.
that will be available in the future?
Right.
Which ones are on the rise and which ones are fading away?
That's where we'll head next.
Yeah.
We'll delve into the report's projections for job growth and decline
All right.
and discuss what those numbers might mean for you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So now that we have a good understanding of those 5 macro trends,
Right.
it's time to dive into the nitty-gritty of,
Specific jobs.
specific jobs. Yeah. The report actually paints a surprisingly positive picture,
It does.
projecting a net increase of 78 million jobs
Wow.
globally by 2030.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not just about the overall number of jobs.
Right.
What's equally important is understanding the concept of structural labor market churn.
Okay. Structural labor market churn. It sounds a bit like something you'd find in a washing machine.
Uh-huh.
What exactly does it mean?
Think of it as a constant reshuffling of the job market.
Okay.
As the economy evolves,
Right.
some jobs are created, others are eliminated, and many others are transformed.
I see.
The report estimates that 22% of jobs will be disrupted in this way by 2030.
22%. So while there will be more jobs overall,
Uh-huh.
it's not like everyone can just sit back and relax.
No.
It sounds like we all need to be prepared for some level of change.
Right.
It makes you wonder which jobs are most likely to be affected by this churn.
Well, the report breaks it down
Yeah.
into the top 15 fastest growing and fastest declining roles. And let me tell you, there are definitely some surprises in there.
Okay, I love surprises. Let's start with the good news.
Okay.
What jobs are on the rise?
As you might expect, technology-related roles dominate the list
Okay.
of fastest growing jobs.
So like what?
We're talking big data specialists, fintech engineers,
Uh,
AI and machine learning specialists,
yeah.
software and applications developers.
Right.
Basically, if you're into tech, the future looks bright.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So coding skills are definitely in high demand.
definitely.
But it's not just about being a tech wizard, is it?
No, it's not.
The report also mentioned those renewable energy engineers,
Yes,
which suggests that green jobs are on the rise too.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Green jobs are definitely gaining traction.
Okay.
Autonomous and electric vehicle specialists and environmental engineers,
Right.
and as you mentioned, renewable energy engineers are all in the top 15 fastest growing roles.
So it seems having a passion for sustainability
Yeah,
and a knack for tech could be a winning combination in the future job market.
it could be a very good combination.
Yeah. All right. So we've got tech and sustainability leading the charge.
Right.
Now, for the flip side,
Okay.
which jobs are projected to decline?
The jobs that are most susceptible to automation are seeing the biggest declines.
Okay.
This includes a lot of clerical roles,
Right.
like cashiers and ticket clerks, as well as administrative assistants and executive secretaries.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Those are jobs that often involve a lot of repetitive tasks that can be easily taken over by machines.
Right.
It's almost like we're seeing a shift from
Look, go on.
doing things to managing things.
You've hit on a key point.
Okay.
As machines take over more routine tasks,
Right.
human workers will be freed up to focus on more strategic and creative work.
Right.
The report also points to a decline in roles like printing workers
Okay.
and accountants and auditors, where automation is playing an increasingly significant role.
So what you're saying is that if your job primarily involves repetitive tasks or data entry, it might be a good idea to start thinking about how you can upskill or reskill
Absolutely.
to stay relevant in the future.
Exactly.
Okay.
But remember, it's not just about the specific jobs themselves.
Right.
Those 5 macro trends we talked about earlier
Yeah.
are influencing job growth or decline across all industries.
Can you give us some real-world examples of how these trends are playing out in different sectors?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's take the example of agriculture.
Okay.
As climate change impacts farming practices,
Yeah.
we're likely to see changes in the demand for agricultural workers.
Makes sense.
Some types of farming might become less viable, leading to job losses,
Right?
while other, more sustainable approaches might create new opportunities.
So farmers might need to become experts in climate-resilient agriculture.
Right.
Or maybe even vertical farming.
Possibly.
It's like the whole industry is being reinvented.
Yeah.
What about demographic shifts? How are those affecting the job market?
Demographic shifts are creating some interesting dynamics. As populations age in developed countries, the demand for healthcare workers, particularly nurses and elder care specialists, will continue to rise.
Right.
At the same time, countries with younger growing populations might see a greater demand
Yeah.
for educators and childcare providers.
Okay.
It's all about adapting to the changing needs of society.
So it's not just about looking at a list of growing or declining jobs.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger forces at play.
Exactly.
And how they're transforming entire industries.
Right.
And that all comes back to those 5 macro trends.
You got it.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting for you, the listener.
Okay.
What does all of this mean for your own career path? What skills will you need to thrive in this evolving job market?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But fortunately, the report doesn't leave us hanging.
It doesn't.
It also delves into the specific skills that will be essential in 2030 and beyond.
Absolutely.
That's what we'll be exploring in our next segment.
Okay.
Get ready to discover the core competencies for the future of work. Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of work.
Glad to be back.
We've covered those macro trends reshaping the job landscape, and, we've explored the jobs that are both surging and shrinking.
Right.
But now, let's get to the heart of the matter.
Okay.
The skills you'll need to thrive in 2030 and beyond.
This is where the report really shines,
Okay.
offering a glimpse into the evolving skills landscape.
Yeah.
The key takeaway is that the skills we need to succeed are shifting.
Okay.
In fact, employers predict that a significant 39% of core skills will change by 2030.
39%, that's a huge chunk of our skill set.
Right.
What's fueling this rapid evolution of skills?
It's a combination of factors,
Okay.
but the rapid advancement of technology is definitely a primary catalyst.
Okay.
As automation and AI continue to reshape the workplace, the skills we need to stay ahead of the curve are evolving as well.
So it's not enough to just keep up with technology.
Right.
We need to anticipate how it's going to change the skills we need.
Absolutely.
What are the top skills we should be honing right now?
The report highlights the top 10 core skills for today.
Okay.
And it's an interesting mix of both hard skills and those so-called soft skills.
Okay.
Analytical thinking tops the list,
Okay.
followed by resilience, flexibility, and agility.
Okay.
Then we have leadership and social influence rounding out the top 5.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
What's that?
Adaptability, resilience, a strategic mindset.
Uh-huh.
These seem to be the, soft skills everyone keeps talking about, but they sound pretty crucial in this environment.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
These skills are becoming increasingly important as the pace of change accelerates.
Makes sense.
Employers are looking for individuals who can think critically, work effectively in teams,
Right.
navigate uncertainty,
Yeah.
and adapt to new challenges with confidence.
Okay.
The report also emphasizes the importance of creative thinking, motivation and self-awareness, technological literacy, empathy, and active listening.
Wow. Okay.
It's about being a well-rounded individual.
It sounds like the ideal employee of the future is going to be a blend of analytical prowess,
Yeah,
emotional intelligence, and technological fluency.
that's a good way to put it.
It makes you wonder, will this top 10 list still be relevant in a few years? Or will we see a whole new set of skills emerge as essential?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the report actually delves into that by highlighting the top 10 skills
Okay.
that are projected to increase in importance by 2030.
Got it.
These are the skills that will be even more sought after in the future.
All right. I'm ready for the future-proof skills list.
Uh-huh.
What do we need to focus on?
Unsurprisingly, tech skills dominate the top spots.
Okay.
AI and big data networks and cybersecurity and technological literacy are at the very top.
Right.
But what's interesting is that we also see those essential human skills climbing the ranks. Creative thinking, resilience, flexibility and agility, even curiosity and lifelong learning.
So even in a tech-driven world, it's those human skills that truly set us apart.
Absolutely.
The ability to think creatively, adapt to change, and never stop learning. These are what will make us invaluable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to a key insight from the report.
Okay.
It contrasts the skills needed for those growing jobs versus the declining ones.
Okay.
And the difference is striking.
I'm picturing a seesaw
Okay.
with in-demand skills on one side rising up
Yeah.
and those less needed skills on the other side sinking down.
I like that visual.
What distinguishes the two sides?
The skills crucial for those high-demand growing jobs tend to cluster around areas like programming,
Right.
technological literacy, resilience, flexibility, and analytical thinking.
Okay.
In contrast, the declining jobs often rely more heavily on skills like manual dexterity,
Yeah.
which are becoming less essential as automation takes over those tasks.
Right.
It's not that those skills are unimportant, but the demand is shifting.
It almost sounds like there's a widening skills gap emerging between those who are prepared for the future of work and those who might be left behind.
It's a possibility.
It makes you wonder what happens to those individuals whose skills become less relevant in this new world.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And the report acknowledges that
Okay.
it emphasizes the importance of upskilling and reskilling programs to help bridge that gap.
Okay.
The good news is that businesses are recognizing the need to invest in their workforce.
Okay.
And we're seeing a significant increase in these types of training programs.
So people are getting the training they need.
They are.
The report found that 50% of the global workforce has already participated in some form of training
Wow.
as part of these initiatives.
That's encouraging.
It is.
Yeah.
But with 39% of core skills expected to change, are these programs enough? Are there people who might still fall through the cracks?
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
And the report doesn't shy away from that possibility.
Okay.
While the growth in training is positive,
You're right.
it also estimates that 11 out of every 100 workers might miss out on these opportunities, potentially hindering their future employability.
So there's still work to be done
There is.
to ensure that everyone has access to the training and support they need to navigate these changes.
For sure.
It can't just be about individual effort.
Right.
It needs to be a collaborative effort between individuals, employers, and perhaps even policymakers.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's a shared responsibility.
And beyond training,
Yeah.
we're also seeing a shift in how employers approach attracting and retaining talent. There's a growing movement towards skills-based hiring, where the emphasis is on what candidates can do rather than just their degrees or past job titles.
It's about recognizing potential
Yeah.
and valuing a diverse range of experiences.
That's a positive trend.
It is.
It opens up opportunities for individuals who might not have followed a traditional career path,
Right.
but have developed valuable skills through other experiences.
Absolutely.
And as competition for skilled talent intensifies,
It is.
businesses are also recognizing the importance of employee well-being and creating positive work environments.
Yes.
After all, attracting top talent is one thing, but keeping them engaged and motivated is another.
Makes sense.
Right. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the macro trends
We have.
to the specific jobs and skills that will be in high demand in 2030. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to address:
Okay.
the role of AI in the future of work.
Right.
It seems like it's both a source of anxiety and excitement.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
And it's a topic that deserves careful consideration.
Right.
I think it's important to frame this discussion around the concept of augmentation
Okay.
rather than replacement. The majority of employers see AI as a powerful tool that can complement and enhance their workforce,
Right.
not simply replace human workers altogether.
So it's less about humans versus machines,
Right.
and more about humans and machines working together to achieve greater outcomes.
Yeah.
It's a partnership, not a competition.
That's the idea.
Yeah, okay.
The report found that an impressive 77% of employers plan to reskill their workforce to work alongside AI.
Wow.
This is a huge opportunity for workers to develop those in-demand tech skills we discussed earlier
Right.
and become more comfortable working with these powerful tools.
It's like we're entering a new era of human-machine collaboration,
Yeah.
where we can leverage the strengths of both to achieve goals that were previously unattainable.
I agree.
But it does make you wonder, how will tasks be divided between humans and machines in the future? Where do we draw the line?
That's a question researchers and businesses are still grappling with.
Yeah.
However, the report suggests that uniquely human skills like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving will continue to be highly valued in the future of work.
Okay.
These are the skills that set us apart from machines
Right.
and allow us to navigate the complexities of the world.
That's reassuring to hear.
It is.
Even in a world increasingly driven by technology, it's our human ingenuity and empathy that will continue to make us indispensable.
I think it's empowering.
Yeah.
It means that by focusing on developing these skills,
Right.
we can position ourselves for success in the future of work, regardless of how technology evolves.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
This entire conversation has been incredibly enlightening.
It has.
And I hope our listeners are feeling energized and equipped to navigate the future of work with confidence.
I hope so too.
The report is a treasure trove of valuable information.
It is.
But it's not meant to overwhelm. It's meant to empower.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
Exactly. We've given you the insights and the tools, but now it's up to you to take the next step.
Yeah.
The future is not something that just happens to us. It's something we actively shape.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave you with a final thought.
Right.
The report predicts that AI will be a powerful force in the years to come,
It will.
augmenting human capabilities in countless ways,
Right.
but it also acknowledges the potential risks.
Yeah, of course.
What are your thoughts on the potential and the perils of this human-machine collaboration?
That is the question, isn't it?
What kind of future do you want to co-create?
That's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
The future of work is a journey we're all on together, and your voice matters.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of work.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shaping the future you want to see.